All right. Sweet. I am trying to figure out this technology thing on this side of stuff. So I think we got it. I think we did it. Good job, team. Well, happy Thursday. Thursday. Yeah. I don't know if you're like me, but like school is ending and the holidays are fast approaching and it is crazy. It's wild times over here. But yeah, I as I mentioned a little bit on my story the other day that I want to get better about posting and I really enjoy it and it's really fun for me. But if I don't schedule it, then it probably isn't going to happen. And so I was like, let's give this whole live stream thing a shot. So I thought it would be appropriate for the very first one to do a feeling overwhelmed. That it's a bit of a wild time in the holiday world. And everyone that I saw today, I've been seeing clients since 7 this morning, and everyone so far has talked about feeling detached, feeling numb, feeling a bit out of sorts, a bit like, I'm not sure how we got here and I'm not sure how to get out of here. And just the necessity of naming what you're going through and what you're feeling and how to navigate through that. And so, yeah, let's talk a bit about that, about feeling overwhelmed and, let's do a little reset together. I love all things like nervous system related, attachment related, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of my bread and butter. And I was reading earlier this week in an Advent study, and they were talking about this. Obviously the idea of Advent and the kind of Christian liturgical kind of calendar of like slowing down and waiting and all these types of things. And one of the things that came up was this concept around how our brains are wired to hear and experience like the bad things of life and not so much of the joy, which obviously isn't a super aha moment, but it was interesting in the context of like everyone that I've been working with this week in particular, of feeling like they get caught in like these negative kind of loops, and why that is. And I feel like a lot of times we try to like put morality on it, like that's good or that's bad, or I'm a bad person because of this thing, or I'm a good person because of this thing, when it's like actually has nothing to do with that at all. It's our brains are wired for survival. Like the amygdala is this almond shaped thing in our brains that are responsible for the fight, flight, or freeze kind of function. And through the process of evolution and those things, that we were built and hardwired for survival. And so, of course, our brains are always going to kind of scan the environment for like the bad juju, and that we're going to look for that first. The problem is when we only filter out that, and we only can see like the bad things, or we can only experience the bad things, and like we have a hard time holding on to what is good. And it's almost like, a psychologist, Rick Hansen, talks about, it's like our brains are Velcro for bad and Teflon for good, meaning like the good stuff just kind of falls away. And I can't help but wonder if that might be something that you're having a hard time with in this season, with all the craziness and all the overwhelm and all the things to get wrapped and all the to-dos and all the cookies to bake and all the whatevers to bake, that we only begin to start seeing the negative things. Like it takes seconds for the negative thing to get kind of lodged into our long-term memory, but it takes, they find about 12 seconds for a good experience to lodge itself in our long-term memory. And so something super simple, again, that I read it earlier this week and I was like, that's the thing that we're going to do together online. Is to think about something in the last 2-3 days that has been good. That's been something that's positive. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be, holding your dog. It could be the way that your kid looks at you. It could be, someone nice waved at you on the road. It could be someone paid for your coffee. It doesn't have to be anything big, but like to think about something that has been good in the last day or two. And to connect to that moment, to think about that moment for like 12 seconds, 14 seconds. And then noticing, what do I feel in my body? Where do I feel that? Does it feel like more settled, calmer? I can almost guarantee you that you're not going to feel as hurried. You're not going to feel as frantic, But what does it feel like to hold on to that moment that made you smile for 14 seconds? How might that shift things for you? I think a lot of times we wait for the other shoe to drop, or I can't relax, when nothing is wrong. Or what Brene Brown calls is foreboding joy. Like the example she gives is like when her kids were really little, she'd go into their bedroom and check on them at night. And she'd be there seeing them sleeping. And she's like, oh, they're so sweet. And then all of a sudden she'd have this image come in her brain of like a car, hits them and they die. And she's like, what the heck? I was just having this really sweet moment. And now I'm, thinking about my kids being really injured or dead. And now I'm sad. I'm like, what the heck? It's because I think joy is risky. It's scary. And if our brains are wired to see the negative things of life first, then how much more do we have to work harder at finding the things that are joyful, to finding the things that are life-giving? And when, I don't know, life really sucks, depression's really gnarly, or you're wildly anxious, or we're in the holidays, you have crazy family, or you're not necessarily looking forward to going home. It's easy to see just the negative, but, that's not going to help foster, cultivate happiness or joy or contentedness, So again, it's like you can rewire that when people are like, well, I'm just the pessimist. I'm just the negative Nancy. I'm just the whatever. It's like that. Yes. Okay. I hear you. It's also kind of a choice. It's like, what does it mean for you to go and find joy? Like I remember after my first kid, I really struggled with postpartum depression. And I remember sitting one day at on the Intercoastal. I think I had my dog with me. I definitely had my baby. And I was just so sad. Just tears were just streaming down my face, and no real necessarily reason. And I remember one day having this thought of like, I think I have to like choose joy. I think I have to chase joy. That it's not just going to come find me. And I think about that a lot, of like when life gets really hard, when our house got hurricaned last year, when the things don't go your way, when you don't get the promotion or you get rejected by someone that you really like or whatever it might be, that it's like, how can I pursue joy? How can I find joy? How can I chase after joy? What does that look like? 14 seconds, apparently. That's all it takes. Thinking about something that has been good in the last day or two. Something small, doesn't have to be big. And just settling in and connecting to that moment. What does it feel like? How might that shift things for you? So, question that I'll leave you with is, what tends to steal joy from you during the holidays? Like, trying to meet everyone's expectations or being around emotionally activating family, dynamic kind of stuff, the loneliness of maybe missing someone, or maybe it's the first Christmas without someone, feeling like you're supposed to be happy, but you're actually overwhelmed. So what tends to steal joy from you during the holidays? And then the second question of what helps you or what has helped you stay present during the 14-second reset. What's going to help you to stay present during that moment of anchoring? Is it the memory that you chose? Is it the pause from the noise? Is it the quiet? We always say, like in therapy, of like, you have to first be able to recognize when you're overwhelmed. So that's the first step. And then when you do, what are we going to do? Can we meet ourselves in that moment of just continuing on? Or ignore it, push it down, shove it to the side, and just keep going. My challenge to you in this season is to slow down. Take a deep breath or two. When you start to get overwhelmed, think about the smallest of things that made you smile, that surprised you. Connect to that. Let it really sink in. And then see how that shifts things. Be curious to know. I will likely not be on here again until after Christmas. So if I don't see you or don't engage with you or talk with you, I hope you have a restful Christmas, whatever that might look like, and that you're surrounded by good people. And I'm looking forward to doing this every week. I don't know if it'll be on Thursday afternoons necessarily, but we're starting here. So let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.